Hello, this is Stephen McNutt from Densemode.com, and in this video we are going to configure Simple Certificate Enrollment Protocol, which is a way of allowing our routers to get certificates in band, and it's a lot more scalable and efficient than manually copying and pasting blobs of text into a terminal. So let's take a look at what we're going to be working with here. We're going to be working with 81 and RSACA, and also if we come over here to our network topology, we're going to use this guy down here, router 2, as our client, and he's going to enroll with the RSACA up here and grab himself a certificate. So let's take a look at the steps we need to take here. If you take a look at this, we're going to create a service account. You can do it without an account, but it's recommended to use one. We need to add the service to the correct user group. We need to give the service account enrollment permissions on our template. Then we go ahead and, once we've done these preliminary tasks, we actually install and configure NDES, which is very straightforward. Then we go through a quick verification, and the verification is basically going to be to perform an enrollment. And then we'll finish up with just a little bit extra credit work at the end too. So the first thing we want to do is hop over to our domain controller, and this is just sort of a best practice that I've always had, which is whenever I create service accounts or accounts that are non-interactive accounts that are used by processes and stuff, I create a separate organizational unit for them. So in this case, we just called them service accounts. And inside this service account, we're just going to go ahead and make a user really fast. So not too exciting. So we'll just call it NDES service for an account name. Okay. And set the password. Set it to not expire. Okay, done. So that's done. Now the next step is going to be to hop over to our certification authority. Go to computer management. So you can just right click in Windows 2016. If you right click on the start menu, like all of these useful things come up, which is really handy. So we'll just go to computer management and local users and groups, and then there's this guy here. This is the IS users group, and since we don't have too many objects in here, we can just type the first few characters and click check names, and we'll get a match and save a little typing. So that's done there. Then we're going to hop over to the certification authority. Oh, we were on the certification authority. So then let's bring up the certification authority snap in. And there's certificate templates. We're going to right click on that and select manage. And then we've got our template, our router template we created in an earlier video. We're going to go to the properties, security, and it looks like I already added it, but we'll remove it and re-add it just for kicks. And it needs to have enroll permissions so that the service can enroll a certificate on behalf of our router. So click OK there. It's done. And next step is going to be to add the service. We're going to add roles and features, a whole bunch of click and next server roles. This is a sub-role of Active Directory certificate services. It's this guy here, network device enrollment service. And we just click install. Okay, done. Okay, So the next step is going to be to do some verification. And actually, let's take a little side trip for just a moment. If we go over to Tools and select IIS Manager, and if we take a look under here, we'll see under the default site, we had already installed the web enrollment on here, so this was already here, but installing NDES on RCA added these additional two virtual directories, the MSSEP and the MSSEP underscore admin virtual directories. And so these are relevant to what we're doing here. So it's not a bad idea just to hop in here, and you can takes 10 seconds to check and just make sure the directories were created. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to this virtual directory here. So easy way to do that is localhost and search serve slash mscep. So okay, cool. And then this is just telling us that to get a challenge password, we actually need to go to this second thing here, this add, the mscep underscore admin. And then you just got to authenticate, no big deal. So this is the enrollment password. So what you would do is anytime you want to enroll a router, you would just come to this page, and this is like a one-time password, and you can actually just keep clicking refresh and you'll keep getting new passwords. So it's kind of useful. So that part's done. We've got network device enrollment service installed and configured. So let's go ahead and enroll a router. One last thing. I just thought of something. Let's fire up a copy of Wireshark, because I think some things worth looking at may come over the wire for us. So I think it's worth running a packet capture. So first, let's create a filter to get rid of all this noise. I'll do ip.addr equals. We'll do the IP address of that router, 12.2. It's 12.2. I think you have to have two equal signs. Is that correct? Yes. Huh. Cool. So here's a little trick. If you make a display filter here, you can save it for later use by clicking this plus sign. So we'll just call this awesome filter. So now we have our awesome filter. So let's hop over to the router now. And this router has no crypto stuff on it. We can do like show crypto key, my pub key, all, nothing. Show crypto PKI certificates, nothing. So we've got nothing. We're starting from scratch. So let's make key. First we'll do show IP domain name. Okay, so that's configured. We always want to check that. So that way if we get a proper label on our key, it just makes life a lot easier. Yes, you can manually label the keys, but it's just one of those things where it's just easier to just make sure you've done it and just make it a habit. So we'll just make a quick RSA key. So that's crypto key generate RSA modulus 2048. And just hit enter. Done. All right, so that's done. Now we got to create a trust point, so we'll do a crypto PKI. I got to start making these videos earlier in the day so that I can still type crypto PKI trust point DM RSA CA-RSA RSA. In this, now we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do enrollment URL HTTP. And if we come back here and look at our diagram, he's 10.1.1 to 11. Okay, cool. So let's come back here. 1.2.11. And if I believe it was cert serve mscep mscep.dll. Okay, cool. And let's go ahead and configure the subject name. Subject name, common name equals r2.densemode.com. Organization equals Densemode. Organizational unit equals IT. And this should be all we should need. So this is where things start to get a little different than the terminal enrollment. Crypto, PKI, enroll, or authenticate. Authenticate. We'll put in our Densemode CA, RSA. And notice that we didn't have to do the whole copy and paste shuffle that we did in the prior video. So just for one quick second, let's take a look in the background. And look at that, we found Wireshark has got something to look at. So let's see what happened here. So our first three packets are what you would expect to see, right? That's just your classic TCP three-way handshake. There's your SYN, SYN-ACK, ACK, and then the router issues an HTTP GET. Note that it uses the enrollment URL. Pretty cool. And we got a HTTP 200 response back from the web server. We got an okay, everything's cool. And then we're getting a bunch of stuff back. See if there's anything we can actually, in plain text, we can look at that might be interesting. There we go. And he said, okay. So really, I think all it really did is, I'm guessing it just downloaded the CA certificate. It's interesting that it issued 2 gets. I'm not sure what the second get was for. Interesting. But you can see that the nice thing is SSEP will actually go and get the certificate for you, the CA certificate for you, which is very nice. Saves you a little bit of trouble. So we're going to accept the certificate. Okay, awesome sauce. We're good to go. So now we're going to enroll. So we'll do crypto, PKI, enroll, Densemode, CA, RSA. Done. And then just for fun, we're going to do this wrong and have it fail. So I'm just going to not enter a password. No, no. Request certificate, yes. And we should get back a request denied. There we go. Request rejected. So let's go look on the server side and see what it looks like on the server when we have a rejected request. So let's fire up. The best way to check this is Event Viewer. We'll do that really quick. Take a look at Event Viewer. And what does Event Viewer have to say? Okay, Event Viewer tells us, drum roll please. Okay, so it says the network device enrollment service cannot locate a required password in the certificate request. There you go. We didn't provide a password, therefore we were not issued a certificate. So here we go. Earlier on when we were verifying that this part was working, this is a challenge password and we haven't used it yet. So we can grab that, copy it, and let's come back and try this enrollment again. And then we'll paste this password in. No, no, yes. Let's see what happens. Rejected. Well, isn't that interesting? Not sure why that happened. Let's try again. Let's refresh this and get a new one. Okay, we got a new one. Copy. And we'll paste the password in. Let's make sure it's in the buffer. Yeah, it's there. No, no, yes. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, we got problems. Let's take a look. Let's see why we got an error. Password in a certificate request cannot be verified. It may have been used already. Obtain a new password to submit with this request. You know, I think we may have to make the request first. Let's try that. Let's try that. Okay, so now we've done that. Create a challenge password. Let's go back over here. Okay, so this is this new one. Copy that. Okay. That might be because there was white space at the end. I just noticed that right there. You know, that's a very good possibility. That's what that was. Hey, I think that was what really happened is when I was copy pasting, there was a bit of white space right there. There was an extra space at the end, and so that's why it was a white space counts as a character. So there you go. So we got our certificate, and we didn't have to do any copy pasting with the terminal. So that was kind of neat. So we can do like a do show crypto PKI certificate. And we should see our awesome certificate. Here we go. Certificate, which one is this? Certificate available. Serial number, usage, general purpose. There's our issuer. This is the subject name. This is us. And, yep, cool. How cool is that? All right, so that was pretty cool. But what if you didn't want to have to go through all of this password nonsense every single time? You just wanted to just enroll a bunch of routers and just have it automatically work. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, that's actually pretty easy to do, so let's do that. There is a magic hidden knob to make that work. So where it lives is under HQ Local Machine, Software, Microsoft, Cryptography, MSSEP, Enforce Password. And there's a registry entry right here called Enforce Password. I'm going to change that 1 to a 0. And that's it. We don't have to restart the service or anything. We can just go ahead and do it. So let's re-enroll. So let's look at the serial. Let's check our serial number. Here we go. So the serial number was this guy. So let's just grab that and keep it down here for safekeeping so we can compare it later. Yes, I want to re-enroll. No password. No, no, yes. And we wait. Done. Okay, so there you go. So now if we do the, take a look at the certificate. What's the serial number? Ah, look at this. The serial number at the end, it's one higher. It's 1D instead of 1C. So we think serial number incremented by 1. So that's, we just verified that we got a new certificate. And if we hop over here and take a look over here under issued certificates, you can see I've been playing around with this guy quite a bit over the last few videos. We have a bunch of certificates. And right there, here's the, you can match up the serial numbers. There you go, 1C and 1D, the last two certificates that we've issued. So there you go. That's the network device enrollment service. A couple of things to note. This does not work with elliptic curve. Elliptic curve has another, there is an in-band provisioning method for elliptic curve, but it's not, it does not work with MSSEP. So this is good for RSA only. So that's something you'll want to keep in mind. We can't configure this for the other our other CA that we have. Probably in production, you would use like access control lists and stuff to restrict access to this guy if you're not going to use the password method, or if you're going to not use the password method, you might want to just toggle it on and off, or just only put the permissions on the template temporarily or something like that. You wouldn't want to just leave it wide open. That would be a really bad idea. So that's all I've got for today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.